Y- Yes, hello class. Nice meeting you today. Our first topic here today that we're going to look at is turning effect of force, presented by me, Mr. Physics. In this topic, I expect us by the end of this lesson to be in position to know one how to define the term moment, or in this case, we can call the turning effect of force. I expect you to understand the factors that affect the turning effect of force. I also expect you to know different examples of turning effect of force. And lastly, I expect you to perform calculations on moment using the formula F times D. Of course, you know F stands for the force and D will stand for the distance, or what we call the potential distance from the point of action from the pivot. Let's start off with a definition. What is a moment? That will always come to you. What is an effect of force? What is a moment? But a moment is a product of the force and the perpendicular distance from the line of action of the force to the pivot. The pivot, this is the turning point, or where we say the point where the action of the body is going to be. Then this brings us to the formula. If you look at this diagram, you realize that we have a D from the pivot. Our pivot is circling this point. And then we have F standing for the force. So the distance between the force and the pivot, remember the force, the angle of the force should always be 90. That's why you're seeing us talking about perpendicular distance. So the angle should always be 90. So this gives us a formula of moment is equal to force times distance. If we get back to factors, if I can take you back to the previous slide, we are looking at moment as a product of force and the perpendicular distance. So if we are asked for the factors in this case, we are going to concentrate on those two. One, the force, but the force, we shall look at its magnitude. Of course, we know that magnitude means size. The size of the force is going to affect a lot the moment of force. A large, or what we call a bigger force, will always impact a great turning effect. And then the distance. The farther the distance, the more there will be an effect on the turning. There will be an effect on the turning, in this case, of the force. So with us here, I want us to watch some video here. I try to organize a video for us here to see. My network is so slow. It's so slow. Yeah, here it comes. Um, with our video here, it is trying to show us about those two factors. How does force affect the moment, and how does distance affect the moment? So this video is going to show us more about this, but the network is disturbing. We shall play it towards the end. So if we go the next slide, it gives us the applications of moment of force in everyday life. You know, physics is a subject that always deals with everyday life, what we do daily on a daily basis. These are some of the applications. There are so many. We have the seesaw tightening or loosening of the bolt, opening the door. Many of us do open the doors. I don't know, but we're trying to have a moment of force applied there. We have pedaling, but this can give us further. Takes us to the examples are well elaborated here that we have seen the previous slide. We have the seesaw, and you can see a boy and a girl. Then this middle point is what we call the pivot in this case. We have the spanner, or what we call the winch, when you're opening up. We have closing a door, like we've talked before. The pedaling of a bicycle, there's that part of the wheel and the axle. Then the steps on how to calculate the moment or turning effect of force. There are three. Step one, you have to identify the force. It should be perpendicular from the pivot. I mean the distance. You have to substitute the values into the formula, and then you have to calculate the moment. Of course, you know that the SI unit of force is Newton and of distance is meters. So if it's a product, it will become Newton meter. Then we shall have some exercise here for us to try out. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.